Hey there guys, I am the Six Machine. Sorry for the quick break in videos, I was away for a few days over the weekend, but welcome back to another Warhammer video, and today we have some even more exciting little tidbits to talk about for the upcoming Eldar release. And today in particular, we have got a look at what is, in my opinion, probably the second most hyped up model after the new Avatar, and that is the latest reborn Phoenix Lord, Maugan Ra. So after Jane Zar got her big glow up the other year, we were all, I think, really excited to see what the other Phoenix Lords would look like in their new and improved versions, their new and improved models. And I think it's fair to say right off the bat that Maugan Ra does look incredible. It's a genuinely gorgeous new imagining of this classic model. But to go alongside his brilliant new model, it seems as though his rules are getting a well-deserved bump as well. So first up, I am personally expecting his stat line to say largely the same, with perhaps one more attack to boost him up to 5. His weapon, the Maugan Ra, however, has changed up quite drastically, and it has gone from a 4-shot, strength 6, minus 1 AP, 1 damage profile with the Shrieker option for doing some mortal wounds instead, to a combined overall much better profile, which now comes in with a hefty 6 shots at strength 7 with minus 2 AP and a much better 2 damage. And then on top of that, to kind of bring in the Shrieker profile side, it now deals a mortal wound in addition for any wound rolls of a 6. Now, yes, whilst minus 1 damage is a common thing in the game at the moment, this gun is still a really decent profile for taking out things like light vehicles, venoms and speeders, and for taking out common infantry like marines. So I think as long as you're not hoping this guy's going to, take out land raiders, you will probably be pretty happy with how his damage output is over the course of the game, and he should be killing on average 2 or 3 marines each shooting phase with this gun, which may not sound like much, but it is going to quickly add up over the course of 4 or 5 turns, and he can very much make his points back pretty quickly, especially if you roll a few 6s to get those mortal wounds in addition. In melee as well, he's had a decent boost, not so much in terms of the stat line, but in terms of reliability. He keeps the same plus 2 strength and minus 2 AP, but it goes to a much better flat 2 damage instead of the D3 that it is now. So I mean, yes, Maugan Ra is not going to be your go-to melee Phoenix Lord compared to someone like Caradhras or Jane Zar, but still 4 or 5 attacks at strength 6, minus 2 AP and 2 damage can definitely help you to fight off any chaff units that your opponent may send your way to try and tie him up. What makes Maugan Ra's shooting even scarier for enemy horde style units with low leadership is his Doom Incarnate rule, which means that each model destroyed counts as 2 models in the morale phase. So he is going to absolutely decimate big hordes, and he can also potentially even make minimum 5-man squads of marines suffer from morale if he kills a couple. Because of course if you kill 2 marines, it's going to count as 4 dying instead, so they could very well fail even their leadership 8 test if they have a sergeant in the squad. So I mean, it's not always going to come into effect, but it does mean that he can bring morale into play against a lot more enemies than you might expect, and that your opponents might not be expecting. They might think that with their full min squad army, they can pretty much ignore the morale phase. Maugan Ra is going to make them really have to think and be wary about taking that damage from him. The final thing, and possibly the most exciting thing that they show off, which is probably going to be a generic rule for all the Phoenix Lords in the new codex I think, is the brand new Favoured of Cain rule. And this, first of all, means that you can never give them a relic or a warlord trait, which is fine, that makes sense. They've never been able to take one before, so I think everyone was expecting that. It also grants them a throw-up invulnerable save, which again makes sense. They've always had that as far as I know, so not really a surprise there. The best part of this rule, however, and harkening back to the days, for those of you that remember, where Eternal Warrior was a thing, is that they can only lose a maximum of 3 wounds in a single phase. And of course, this may be ever so slightly less good than, say, compared to the way it is on a Catan or Gars, because these guys are probably only going to have 6 wounds still, not the 9 or the 12 that those other units have. But it does importantly mean that your enemy physically can't kill them in a single brutal shooting phase or a single huge melee phase or anything like that. It is of course still entirely possible to kill them in a single turn if they get shot and then charged, but it does give them a massive boost to their ability to survive for a few turns and, get up into combat if it's a melee lord, or just sit back and get off as many shots as possible with Maugan Ra to help him make his points back. And of course, if there's any psychic powers or abilities that allow you to return wounds to a model, this is going to be really, really good on them, because essentially every wound returned gives you a whole extra phase for these guys to stay alive for. The article does also mention that Maugan Ra has a plethora of other rules accumulated over the eons as other aspect warriors take up the mantle of Phoenix Lord, but they don't show off any of them in this article. He currently has some rules that may be what they're alluding to, things like the Harvester, Legacy of Altansar, or however you pronounce that, Altansar? Legacy of Altansar, I think is how I'm going to pronounce it, and also Inescapable Death, but whether these are going to stay the same or be removed or changed around, we will have to wait and see. They do say there's going to be a big article on the Phoenix Swords tomorrow, so hopefully we will get to see a few more of their rules then. But from what we have seen just today, I do think that Maugan Ra is going to be an incredibly potent ranged addition to an Eldar army, and he is going to absolutely punish enemy infantry squads and light vehicles with his shooting, as well as be able to, sit back, hold an objective, and just survive for a good few turns, even against things like enemy snipers and enemy firepower, thanks to his ability that he can never take more than 3 wounds in a single phase. But what do you think of the rules that we've seen from Maugan Ra today? Is he going to be worth taking with the new codex, or were you maybe hoping for some more changes to his weaponry? Let me know in the comments below, and as always, thank you very much for watching. Please do like and subscribe for more Warhammer content from me, but until next time, I'll catch you later, guys.